And we're live. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, robertlmichiels. We're here with special guest Tony Boyer. Tony Boyer has years of experience of flying, not just paragliders, but also hangliders. And so tonight we are going to have a great time. We're going to talk about all things flying. We're going to pick his brain to see how it ticks and what it takes to be an excellent pilot. Glad that you're all here. If you're just logging in and if you're just checking in, if you've checked your emails, if you've already been on the show, I've sent out some more invites because this is Paragliding Talk, and we like to have a bunch of people on here at the same time. Tonight, Neil, the moderator, is off. He's going to have to work. He's doing something else tonight. So far, it's just me and Tony Boyer. However, we're going to have a sneak special guest come on, a couple of them. As they're driving to an event in Georgia. Mark Honeycutt and a couple friends are driving cross country right now, making the trip to a fly-in. So we're going to invite them to come on the show and hang out with us for a little bit while they're driving. I do want to encourage you to go check out paraglidingtalk.com and find out what's happening on the next shows. Just to give you a heads up, next week we're going to be having Max Martini and Getty G. And we're going to be talking about acro, and they're going to be discussing some different things. I'm sure that Alan Tho will be on with us as well, and we're going to have a great time. So let's give a warm welcome to Tony Boyer. Tony, how you doing, my friend? Oh gosh, no sound. No sound again. Check the plug. Okay, I heard something. There we go.
Okay, hold on a minute. This thing's been acting up all day.
I heard it. You're good. I can hear you now.
How about now?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, this thing, I don't know if it's timing out and muting me or what's going on there.
If you see me do this, that means I can't hear you.
Wait, how's it go?
Hold on, like this.
Yes. Okay.
That's the scared look.
Okay.
When you're about to get hit by the train where you flail a little bit.
Yep. Okay, I'm with it.
Yeah. By the way, check out this shirt. Blossom, San Diego.
Made by one Randy Clark.
Randy Clark, you know Randy Clark.
A Blossom Valley local with whom I flew hang gliders many years ago. Terribly.
Yeah, Randy is a champ. He made these shirts. And Tony has one too. He has a blue one, actually.
Yeah, I've got the blue one. I got the gray one.
Oh, you have both?
I'm going to collect all the 8 colors of the color wheel of those Blossom shirts.
Yeah, I think I'm getting another one too. He's making one for me too. It's going to be one of the baseball ones.
Hey, he's a card.
Yeah. I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about this show tonight, Tony. So if you guys don't know Tony, you've probably seen him. If you watch any of my videos, you've seen him with me. I usually pick him up because he's always looking for a free ride. And I'll give him. That's fine. But I need him to teach me how to fly. So I give him rides and he gives me information. It's a good trade-off.
Those who can't do, teach, my friend. You're welcome.
And you are welcome. Hilarity. Okay, so we start off every show asking this one simple question. And we want to know, how did you end up getting into the sport of paragliding? Take us through.
My goodness. Kind of a long-winded tale.
No long-winded tales. You just tell us how it happened.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so we're getting straight to the point. So I got real interested in paragliding, and I did it. And here I am. That's how the whole thing got started, and that's pretty much it, man.
You almost made me spit my water out.
Well, don't do that. That microphone does not look all that cheap, and that's probably not water in there by the sound of it.
This is water. This is water.
Okay. Gosh, so man. Go something like this. I honestly, so God, paragliding. Okay, so
you were hang gliding first, if I'm correct, right?
Well, well, not really. I originally started in paragliding, and about maybe a year and some change later, I picked up hang gliding. And the way that it went, I mean, I was looking at hang gliders when I was literally like 4 years old, driving past hang gliding site. Guys were landing, and I was just completely started amping on it. And my dad pulled over, let me watch the guys land and everything. And it was funny because I noticed that when I put those the gliders on the cars to transport them, when they were folded up, I could recognize what a hang glider looked like on top of a vehicle. So I would always notice somebody transporting a hang glider from the time I was like 4 years old, and so. Fast forward a number of years, I'm in college over at San Diego State, whatever, and be surfing Black's Beach, and obviously right by Torrey Pines, I'd see these guys hang glide, and there was a handful of paragliders, and so I dropped in one day, and I was like, I want to learn to hang glide, so who's going to teach me? And I was persuaded to go by way of paragliding. They said, have you ever thought about paragliding? I said, no, I haven't. I was more interested in the hang gliding thing. And so I was persuaded to go by way of paragliding. And at that time, at Torrey Pines anyway, where I learned to paraglide back in, was that 97, I want to say that was, there was more hang glider pilots than paraglider pilots at the site. So I was learning to paraglide in a world where it was kind of like, the kind of same social dynamic as learning to snowboard at a skier's mountain, right? So
okay.
it wasn't the most welcoming, particularly the most welcoming vibe I got from the hang glider guys. And then, they started getting in my ear a little bit, and they're like, these paragliders are dangerous, and you're 20 something, you're kind of pushing the envelope, which I was, and on my, what was that? That would have been a DHV1, or in today's terms would have been ENA wing, and I thought I was really something, and so these guys, they said, you really ought to try hang gliding, if nothing else, for the safety of it, because paragliding, at that time was kind of perceived by the hang gliding crowd as kind of a dangerous and stupid activity, if you will. And I mean, I thought it was great, and I was just stoked to be in the air. And so anyway, I figured, it was my lifelong dream to do the hang gliding thing. So about a year and some change into it, I took up hang gliding and did that for, about a decade or so.
Dude, a decade of flying hangs? I didn't know you flew that much.
Yeah, I flew quite a bit. I never got, I was never super serious about it. I did, a couple of, little speed gliding comps, and they even had a couple of ridge racing comps, places like Torrey and that, and, ended up doing okay, whatever. And it was, nothing special, but I was always more of kind of a sight guy. I'd surf in the morning, or, when I wasn't working as much when I was in college, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go ahead and not go to class on this Friday.
Uh-oh.
And then I'm going to surf until it gets blown out, and then I'm going to load up my stuff, and I'm going to go flying in the afternoon. And so that was kind of my MO, has been for the last, off and on 20 years or so.
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. By the way, I hate to break it to everybody, but Tony and I had the conversation about going flying this evening instead of having the show. Just letting you know.
Heartbreaking, right? Potentially, though.
Potentially, yeah. We were checking out the reports, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks like it's going to be good. I don't know if we can do the show. And we dug a little deeper, and it was going to be blown out and dangerous, and just not into that kind of flying.
Yeah, reality joined the party.
Yeah. So we're here at this place now. By the way, one of my first questions is, what do you use faithfully to read your weather?
That's funny. I'm not even kidding. For the longest time, I would literally look out the window and go, that looks pretty good. And that was at a time when I was living in Point Loma, and I had just enough of a stretch of the ocean that I could see that it would be like different shades of blue, and it would indicate like strong onshore winds or whatever. And I'd look up and see if there's cumulus in the sky, and be like, oh, that's good enough for me to either fly the coast, or if it doesn't look like it's too blown out or it's not too high pressure, I would just grab my hang glider and I would just go to, Horse Canyon or, Blossom,
Oh yeah.
places like that. And yeah, our local site, Blossom, our home site, our favorite site, even though it's kind of a love-hate relationship. But anyway, that's what I do. And then I would literally turn on the Weather Channel. This is years ago. Only very recently did I actually decide, okay, you know what? I have all this weather data at my fingertips. I've got kind of a haphazard idea of how to read it and actually make an accurate prediction, but I'm not really understanding the whole picture. And so I talked to Bill Davis and the Wild Bill, and I said, hey man, you make some pretty good weather predictions. Why don't you come over and show me exactly what you do when you look at the weather, and then I'm just going to replicate that. And so I look at the soaring predictor as the very first kind of to get kind of a pulse for what's happening, so to speak. And then I finally subscribed to XC Skies.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So, and then I look at the SKU-T, and I kind of just take, the data from those three models, and then within XC Skies, I'll look at the high res and a NAM3 usually, and kind of draw up a conclusion from that. In addition to, chatting with a few other guys that still know it better than me.
So if you miss that, what Tony just said is that he still reaches out to other people before he goes flying. He's been flying for over close to 2 decades between hangs and paragliding, right?
Well, yeah, well, off and on. Yeah. I mean, I kind of fell out of that. I'm kind of scatterbrained, so I fell out of flying for a number of years. I mean, let's see. I think the last time I flew a hang glider, geez, that must have been almost 10 years ago, man. It was, 2009, 2008 even?
I want to try it.
I recommend it with the highest regard. It's
nice.
It's an outstandingly fun sport.
Do you still have a hang glider?
Yeah, technically yes, but it's at a house that I had about 4 or 5 houses ago, and it might very well still be hanging in the rafters of that house. But I essentially retired that wing. I flew that thing; it got so bagged out. And, I used to pull a lot of G's in it, and and high G pull-ups one after the next, and it started to get a little bit flappy, and I think it's where it belongs now.
It belongs in the attic.
I believe so. I wouldn't put anybody on that wing today. It's seen better days, I'm sure. But
that's pretty rad.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and then the whole motocross thing kind of took me out of the game for, let's see. So from about 2000. Shoot, when was the last time? I said about 2008, I want to say. And, because I started riding motocross, doing some local races for fun. And I did that until 2014 was when I officially sold my last motocross bike. And I got hurt really, really bad doing that sport. It's my favorite sport of all time, motocross, really. But it was also the most dangerous, and I'm no spring chicken anymore, so that had to stop. And but it wasn't until 2013 Jeremy Bishop reached out and said, "Hey man, you want to come try these paragliders? These things they've come a long way since you were flying them in the 90s." And sure enough, man, he was right. I tried the paragliding thing again, and my goodness, I was really blown away by how far it had come.
So the guys, for the most part, don't know much about you. What do you fly? And maybe talk about your weight range and all that. Your free flight.
Okay, so let's see. I fly a Delta 2, fat guy version, because I am a pretty weighty guy. I'm coming in around $175 out of the shower, kind of a thing. I need to lose at least 5 pounds, at the very least. But
are you flying a medium small?
Nope, I'm flying an ML. My first glider when I came back and started getting back into it, the first glider I actually owned, it was a Delta 2. I shouldn't have owned a Delta 2 back then. That was 2013. I was flying a Buzz 4 that Jeremy let me use for, I don't know, a month and a half or so. And then I wound up on a Delta 2, and I was like, yeah, this thing feels a little bit, squirrely for my ability at that time. But, he was thinking I was flying competition hang gliders that, oh, yeah, no problem, get you on a D2, you'll be fine. And Well, that didn't do much for my psyche at my advanced age. So, I decided that, really it was, probably not the best idea. So I stepped back to a Rush 4, and I was much, much, much happier. And I was flying a medium large. So two things with the D2 that I originally had, I was too fat for it. So I was over the weight range, and plus, I mean, I had one of the heaviest harnesses you could ever buy in your entire life. And so, I was went up to what, 95 kg, and I was weighing in around 97, 98 at the time, which, today I don't think I'd mind that so much, the dynamic nature of it and everything, and the way that it flies and turbulence and that kind of a thing. And, you're going to get more, potentially dynamic reactions and that, which again, I wouldn't mind as much today. But back then, when I was first getting into it, it was really scary, especially coming off a hang glider. Hang glider, you have the wing floating a few feet over your head, and coming back to paragliding, especially in the mountains with more turbulent air, that kind of a thing. It was the air was, having the wing 30 feet over my head was a seriously unnerving and scary thing for me.
Yeah, I've heard that from other hang glider pilots. That cracks me up.
It was scary. I felt, quite honestly, I was more comfortable on a hang glider, and that's my own internal stuff I have going on. But yeah, the hang glider, I just felt more at home in the beginning. It's taken me, let's see, I've been about 5 years now. I've been back to paragliding and just kind of playing around with that whole thing, and I'm much more comfortable now. And strangely enough, even I did one SIV in my entire paragliding life. I need to do another one soon, I think. However, I did the SIV on my Rush 4, and I sold the Rush 4. I was looking for either like a Sigma 10 or maybe like a Delta 3, something like that. But
Sigma 10. Oh.
That is a nice wing. That is a really, really nice wing.
Yeah.
However, Chris Cote tagged me in a post on Facebook, and he said, he's like, "Hey man, there's this new Delta 2 for sale." And I was like, I thought about it. I'm like, I'm not exactly, going out and doing competitions or anything. I'm like, I am a weekend warrior, like, textbook, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I will take a look at this Delta 2. It was an ML. This guy was a guy from the Midwest, and he was selling his Delta 2 for, I don't know, a couple $1,000 or something like that. And I ended up getting this thing shipped and everything. Cost me about $1,900. That Delta 2 had 8 hours on it. It literally looked like it came from the factory when it shipped from my house. So, for $1,900, weekend warrior, go out and do my weekend warrior thing, and it was a perfect setup. But the long-winded version of that, what I'm trying to get to, is that strangely, I felt more comfortable.
Uh-oh. You might have to unplug it and plug it back in. Can't hear you. Check, mic check. Try it again. There we go.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to plug this thing back in.
All right. Nope. I can see your lips moving though. Dang it. This is a good segue. By the way, I sent the other Tony an invite too. NCPPG pilot. If you're set up for if you're set up with your camera, you should come on.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Hey, you know what? I got my headphone from work. I'm going to try that and see if that works.
Yeah,
I'll just get it queued up and ready to go. Just in the event that this thing's longer than I thought.
This is a great time, by the way, to fill in. Go to paraglidingtalk.com. Check out our future shows, what's going to be happening. Also want to encourage you to get your email on the email list. I'm going to be reaching out to a few of our, I don't want to say vendors, a few of the guys who would maybe want to advertise on the show and see if we can get some sponsors for the show and maybe do some advertisements. Today, we have a special announcement. Carl, thanks for reminding me. We just hit 1,000 subscribers. Pretty stoked about that. That means we can monetize the show, and that's pretty cool. And then also, I'm thinking maybe we'll reach out to some of the camera companies. Had a guy named David who said that he could get me in contact with GoPro, and maybe we can test out some of their cameras, especially for the local. I believe so. Is he the GoPro master or what?
Yeah, he's. It's funny. I knew a couple of those guys actually. I think my buddy Rolf worked in Dave's group, and but he's David Audie. He's the guy now.
Nice. So yeah, we're gonna try to reach out to them. So give me your email, and I'll keep you guys posted on what's happening as the show grows. I feel like we're still kind of an infant state, but we're growing. There's Tony, the other Tony. What's up, my brother? I got no audio from the other Tony.
No audio from the other Tony either. It's not just me.
Okay. Gosh darn it. One Tony or the other.
Two Tonys on one show can be a handful.
Yeah, that is out of control.
I can see his lips moving though.
Yeah, I know. Me too. We'll let you work out the kinks there, and I'll let you know in the chat. I'm also right now going to send the invitation to Mark Honeycutt. Let's see if we can tap into what they're doing. They're driving right now.
Check.
Oh, there we go. I can hear you now.
Hey,
you know what really helps is if you turn the switch on. That helps a lot.
Nice. Okay, so I just sent the invitation to Mark Honeycutt. They're driving right now. There's some event going down in Georgia. Do you know anything about that?
The Bad Apples.
That's what it is.
Dodgers Field. Yeah.
Yep.
There's a bunch of guys going to that one.
Yeah, they're driving right now, and I checked in with them, or I sent the invite. There he is.
Hey.
Yeah.
Mark, can you see us?
Woo! Yep, you're good to go, man.
Oh, do we have Tony up in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, talk me into it.
Oh, yeah, man.
What's going on, brother?
Are you guys
two
both
Tonys.
Tonys?
They're both Tonys.
Double T.
Nice.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah. So,
Gentlemen.
what are you guys up to over there?
So, like we were saying, we're going to the Bad Apples flying in, it's like Andersonville, Georgia. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people there. Resurgence, PPG, Aviator, PPG, me and Ross Gasaway, and I think Woody's gonna come down after his show tonight at midnight. He's gonna finish. Yeah, he's gonna finish his show and then get on the road at midnight, which is crazy, but whatever.
Wow, and then it's 7 hours.
Yeah, well, for you guys, is it longer?
No, 7.5 hours.
7.5. So from my house, it's like 7, but for them, it's a little longer.
That's hilarious. Where's your mustache at? Thought we were bringing it back, bro.
Yeah, well, the thing is, for the Army, I gotta, keep it inside the lips, and then at that point, when I shave it there, it just looks weird.
That's understandable.
So what are you guys driving there? That thing looks huge, whatever it is.
Yeah, what are you driving there?
You guys an 18-wheeler or something?
What's it?
It's a Dodge ProMaster. The Hell's Aviators on base.
The Hell's Aviators.
Nice.
Yeah,
There
I did
we
know
go.
that.
That was
you
fun.
give me a tour of the back.
You became an interviewer. That was awesome.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a tour of the back.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
Mark Honeycutt always seems to be driving or something whenever he comes on the show. Like the last time he was on a tour bus with the military.
All right, this is the
At least there's no bathroom.
his full-size bed.
What?
Yeah.
That's all of our. This is my stuff. I was gonna drive by myself initially, but I decided to go with him. So my stuff's stacked up here, and then we got the paramotors. I think I can flip the camera, right?
Give it a shot. There you go.
I don't know what I'm looking at, but
Yeah.
oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing's rad.
That is.
Yeah, man. Look at that.
Oh, mansion life, man.
What?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm green with envy. Robert, let's get one of these immediately.
I can barely hear you guys.
Oh, Tony just said that we're going to have to get one immediately. And he's green with envy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely need one.
Yeah, I think we need one by the end of the week.
By the end of the week?
Yeah, that's right.
We're talking about doing some big cross-country stuff. We're going to need one of those for sure.
Yeah, I think that our cross-country dreams will become a reality when we have one of those.
That's right. That is right. Honeycut. So,
Yeah.
You guys are going to go to this thing. Is it a competition or is it just a fly-in?
It's just a fly-in. Hosted by Nick LaBeouf. Yeah. It's I don't know if it's his property or a friend's, but it's just like a huge field. It should be pretty cool.
That's rad.
Yeah.
That is rad. Well, thanks for chiming in, and maybe if you guys post some stuff, I'll be looking for it. I wish I could go.
Yeah.
That makes two of us.
There's still time.
Hey, you guys have fun for the rest of us, okay?
Yeah.
We'll post some pictures and stuff. People are already posting stuff.
Oh, they're already there.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of people there, I think.
That is
It opened at
fantastic.
9:20 this evening.
Wow.
Yeah,
You
9:20.
guys just think about me when I'm crunching numbers behind a desk tomorrow. Yeah, thanks.
Hey, so Mark's going to go get his P2 this week. He's going to try to get some training over there a little bit, finish off his P2.
The P2 is supposed to happen at the endless foot drag. Like prior to the endless foot drag, there's a guy in Britton Shaw, I think, in Fort Smith, Arkansas, that'll do the training for me. And then endless foot drag will just be for fun and getting a tow certification if I want it.
Nice.
But apparently there's maybe some paraglider training here. I don't know. Maybe we're going to find out. And if that's the case, I won't have to drive 17 and a half hours.
Yeah. Well, here's what I was telling Woody Gamertag is I said, you need to just come out to Southern California and you can get your P2 real easy.
Well, what it comes down to is prices. Like, I've been shopping around and there's some better than others.
You know what? Tony will sign you off.
Yeah, if Tony can go get me
we're going to get you a tow rating, and then we're going to take that act to the Corn Alps in July, and then, you can represent me there. Be awesome. Perfect. A win-win.
Yeah, man. I'm down. For some reason, I was thinking of the other Tony.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I was just running my big fat mouth. I was thinking of the other Tony as well.
Yeah, no. You need to come to Southern California, bottom line, and that will be the added benefit. It'll be like the icing on the cake that you'll get a USHPA certification.
Yeah, I mean, I want to fly out there, but I think the deal might be elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. By the way, the reason why he's getting his certification is because he's completely hooked on free flight. If you guys don't know, he's completely addicted.
I am. I almost did not come to this Bad Apples fly-in because I was researching the winds in like different parts of North Carolina and Virginia, and I'm like, it's not a good weekend for paragliding. Guess I'm going to go to the paramotor fly-in.
That tickles the cockles of my heart.
Yeah, I was like, it's bumpy road. I can't hear. I was like, well, I could probably do a bunch of sled runs off these hills. I mean, but that's how much I enjoy it. Like, even if the winds were calm, I'm like, I could still go just run off the mountain and maybe make the LC.
Yeah, he was having he had his parents give him rides up the hill all day one day.
Yeah, that was just this past weekend, like 4 or 5 days ago.
There might be a winch out here to tow people up, so we'll see if we can find that.
Yeah. Right on.
Some thermal cross country and flatlands.
Dude, that's rad. Me and Tony Boyer were just talking about that. Some flatland flying. They have some flatland flying in Minnesota.
That's awesome. Tony, what's your last name?
We got Tony Boyer and then Tony F.
Tony F. Okay.
Tony F.
Yeah, who's Tony F?
He's NCPG pilot.
Never heard of him.
I heard he did something to my old paraglider, paramotor.
Oh, dang it.
I didn't tell anyone, Tony.
What did you
apparently
do?
not.
What
He
did
didn't
you
win.
do?
Who knew anything?
Oh, I fell out of the sky.
Oh,
Yeah, I was that day. I told you that I was hitting some thermals and climbing up. I was coming in for a long approach into it was a regular old landing, and everything was going great. So I got about 10 feet above the ground, started to level out, get ready to flare, and must have hit in between two thermals or something. But it just lost lift right then.
oh,
And buried the brakes, and that Flight 78, that was my first butt landing ever. And,
did you break something?
well, I tweaked it just a little bit.
Oh, dang it. But you're not
Not
broken.
hurt though. So
Yeah. Well, that's good.
More my pride than anything.
Yeah.
Just your pride.
Just my pride.
Well, welcome to the club.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, man. Just a little bit. Oh, I don't know $10, do I?
No, you can say suck.
Okay,
That's
suck.
fine.
Suck doesn't
You
suck.
can say suck. Sucks. You get suck. Sucks okay,
Okay.
to say?
Yeah.
That's about as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
I didn't even say any colorful metaphors that day. Thought of
Man.
Yeah.
Well, right on, guys. You guys keep driving. Your audio kind of sucks, so I'm going to kick you off.
Yeah, and you guys are kind of hard to hear, so I feel kind of awkward when I don't hear what you're saying to me.
You're just randomly laughing.
Especially the other, not the Tony F, but the other Tony, it's harder to hear him, so I feel like I haven't responded very well. Sorry.
Yeah, you're all right, man. Thanks for checking in with us, brother.
Yeah, no problem. It was good talking to y'all.
All right,
You
you
guys
guys have a
safe, man. Have fun.
Yeah, safely, gentlemen.
Thanks. See ya.
Later.
Yeah, so I got a question.
Yeah, fire away.
Like I say, that approach was normal. I've done it 77 times before that without issue. And it's coming along just fine. Now, granted, it was about 10 in the morning, clear skies, North Carolina sun. And it just, what do you do when it just suddenly drops? Nothing you can do, I guess.
This is a great question for Tony Boyer.
Yeah, run that by me one more time. What
do you do? You know, recently there was one of our guys, and we mentioned in the beginning of the show, Bill Davis. We call him Wild Bill. Bill Davis took a collapse, and he was about 20 feet off the ground, maybe. He's free flight pilot. He's flying a spicier wing. He's a P4. And he got hurt pretty bad. It put him in the hospital. He broke his wrist and he fractured his spine. And I mean, this guy's an excellent pilot. So things happen. I've taken some weird collapses, but it's always midday when you're coming into land midday, and that's what it sounds like to me. But what do you? The question was, can you avoid that? Is that kind of what the question was?
Well, I need to clarify. I did not get a collapse. There was somebody on the ground watching, and they said my tips kind of fluttered, just the tips. But it just dropped. And I see Ripman riding over there pointed out coming in with more energy. That's kind of what I thought. Normally I land with trims in, and maybe I could have swooped in a little more. Perhaps try to cut through it.
You were on a motor?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, man, shoot, I feel kind of a little bit remiss about answering a paramotor question because I'm so I just don't know. But it's interesting because I talk to Russman about this all the time. Phil Russman. Yeah. And he's my instructor essentially over here in San Diego. And on a hang glider, for example, I like to come in with a ton of energy, not just for fun, but for safety, come in as fast as I can go. But on in a paraglider, and I would imagine this to be somewhat similar in a PPG, but again, I assert absolutely no absolutes on this. But as far as coming into a semi, whether it be turbulent or not even turbulent, just say you're coming in the middle of the day and you just want to be ready for anything kind of a thing, I come in with a little bit more pressure on the brakes, and Russman and I were just talking about this recently, and he's like, think about it. He's like, if you want to come in with maximum energy, you'd be on speed bar. He said, you wouldn't recommend coming on a speed bar into a hot LC, would you? I'm like, well, no, I wouldn't. He said, no, you want to have more pressure in the canopy on your approach and ready to catch anything that, could potentially happen to you there. Because, I mean, more pressure in the brakes, higher angle of attack. And the way I personally interpret that is that, I definitely want to come in with a little bit more pressure in the wing, to keep the angle of attack higher, because any kind of a, negative angle of attack, say, as a result of turbulence or something to that effect, you're going to possibly experience a collapse, and preceding that collapse, you're going to experience, maybe no pressure in the brakes. Your canopy essentially wants to deflate. And when I stop and internalize that, I think, well, it's true. If I'm kiting, if I'm just standing on the ground kiting my wing, and I feel the pressure go out of one side or the other, I always pump that side to keep it from going away, right? And, it's kind of an active piloting technique almost, if you will. But long and short of it is, when I'm landing a paraglider in free flight, when I'm landing a paraglider and I am coming into a hot LZ that might be popping off a thermal activity or in dust devils or something to that effect, I will come in with a little bit more pressure, in my brakes, and when I'm a little bit higher, say I'm just barely starting my approach, I might do some higher banked turns. But what I try to do, for right or wrong, what I try to do is I try to put more, try to increase the G loading or the loading on the wing by doing steeper turns. But the way that I transition from, say, right to left, left to right, et cetera, is I try to make those a smooth transition, maybe steeper bank S turns, not wing overs or anything like that, where your G's get lighter. I try to maintain that constant energy, but I try to keep the glider as loaded as I possibly can.
Yeah, I'd tell you one thing that was a little different is this was a really long approach over some power lines. Normally I will do some turning, and when you turn, you descend faster, pick up a little speed.
Yeah,
as far as pressure on the brakes, I'm always feeling pressure. Minor corrections coming in. But that's probably what it was, is that long approach, and that Muse 3 was crawling. It was just literally crawling.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So when I ran out of air, I didn't have any forward speed. So I think when my rear end hit the ground, I must have slid about 2 or 3 feet, and that was about it.
Gotcha. And so, and pardon the ignorant questions, but if were you coming in, was when I picture landing a paramotor, I might have the thing at an idle or maybe slightly more than that. Yeah. Again, I've never even flown one. Okay, idle. So I would imagine your throttle response and the time to take to get the prop moving again, it'd probably be a little bit too late to kind of come out of that.
And when it did drop, I had just killed the motor.
Oh, gotcha.
There was no spinning it up again.
Yep. Okay.
One of the things, and I'm absolutely no expert. I'm just a student learning how to fly. I did learn in reading one of the books that where there's air going up, there's also going to be air going down. So if there's a thermal going up, it's going to displace the air. And what it sounds like is you maybe hit one of those pockets of air.
Just before that happened, I saw the sock go flaccid.
Interesting.
It was coming out about 5-6 miles an hour. Then all of a sudden,
just done. Yeah, there's a
that's
great
what
book.
I was thinking originally. I just hit nothing. There was nothing there.
Dennis Pagan's book, It's called Understanding the Weather. Incredible insight. Woody just sent me a what's it called? PDF file. I can send that to you.
That would be great.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
a great book. Incredible. I mean, if you can get the hardback, I'm sure it's much better than trying to read it on the computer, but it's a great book. The other book that I read that's really good is it's a free flight book, but has a lot of insight about thermals.
Man.
What's that?
I'm following in Honeycutt's footsteps.
Yeah. Learn a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other book is by Bruce Goldsmith, and that book is called 50 Ways to Fly Better. And that's a great one. And
Yeah.
I got you, Dangerous Dane. Let me write that down so I remember. So for Tony Boyer, I got a question for you. And by the way, if you got any questions for Tony Boyer tonight, fire away. We're going to ask him some questions about. He's mostly free flight. He did some hang gliding also. We got 35 people logged in. Hey, what's up, everybody? Appreciate everybody in the comments. Glad that you guys are here tonight. If I could ask this question, what's next? You've flown quite a bit site-wise. What's next on your agenda for flying paragliders?
Yeah, I'm thinking about giving the old XC thing a whirl. I think I need to focus on it, though. Unfortunately, I feel, and maybe this is just my cynicism a little bit, but I feel like this particular season has not really lended itself well to XC flying. I mean, we've had a few good days here and there, but I mean, I'm at least a 40-hour a week working stiff with a severe mountain biking habit, and so I'm trying to really, ride my bike on those non-flyable days and get those good XC days, which I have not seen many this spring. I feel like this has been an odd spring. We're in a bit of a La Nina pattern. I'm at a point now where I'm ready to call in sick to work. I haven't done it yet. I haven't called in sick for a Ferris Bueller's Day Off kind of a situation since
we were going to do it today.
Yeah, we were right on the cusp, weren't we?
Yeah.
So, if there happens to be anybody working for my employer at this time that happens to be watching this particular viewing, yeah, totally just kidding. But
yeah, me too.
Yeah, but yeah, we were right on that. We're right on the edge of doing it. I mean, and I was looking at the weather, and I thought that I absolutely thought that the Laguna would be raging today.
Oh,
there might have been some higher winds out there, but I mean, if you got off early enough. But again, I am an admitted wuss. I am afraid of massive conditions, especially in a paraglider with my at my advanced age, my old hang gliding brain, that whole thing. I've never really done XC. I feel, I've got the canopy control to keep the wing under control, but it's a psychology game as well.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to.
You got to be a little bit loose upstairs.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit loose upstairs. I agree with you there. But I definitely I want to give the XC game a whirl and see how I do. I feel like I.
Oh gosh, Ron Hauser just chimed in and he said, "Can you please step into my office for a moment, Mr. Boyer?" Is that your boss?
Ron Hauser, yeah, that sounds familiar.
I do know Ron.
My walk-in papers by the sound of it, meaning that I might have a whole lot more time for flying. So this could be a serendipitous event, if you will. I mean, really.
Ron Hauser, I'm so glad you checked in. I met him at Torrey Pines not too long ago. Cool guy, man.
He is an absolute crack up. He needs to join the show immediately. Why is he not live? Can you pose this question to him, please?
I told him about the show. I didn't send him an invite because
I didn't send that immediather.
He's a baller,
He is a serious. This guy is a character like nothing you've ever seen before. I again could become the interviewer as opposed to the interviewee. We need to get him on the show right now.
Okay, I understand. By the way, Tony and I talked about creating this show long before it was in existence. So Tony played a huge part in getting this thing off the ground. And I was like, dude, Tony, come on the show, man. Like, what's the problem here? And he kept blowing me off, and then he kept showing his hatred. And then
all fabrications of the truth, of course. I am definitely the easiest part about doing a show is not actually doing it in front of anybody. You know, I get more than 4 or 5 people into a room, and man, I tell you, my public speaking anxiety absolutely exponentially escalates. I mean,
I don't want to make you nervous, but we're now up to 36 people watching live.
36. We haven't lost them in 5 minutes. That's pretty good. I have to admit, I'm impressed.
Yeah, they're all desperately hooked on flying stuff.
As are the rest of us, I suppose, huh?
This might as well be an Alcoholics Anonymous for flying.
It honestly might as well be. I mean, they're perfectly synonymous. I feel the exact same way.
What would you call that? It'd be Flight Junkie Anonymous. Could that work? Flight Addict. Flight Addict.
Flight Junkie Anonymous. I like all of these. Writing these down right now.
PGA.
Yeah. Sebastian said we're all watching you. It's a fact.
Sebastian.
Yep.
Is that Sebastian from LA County by chance?
I don't know. But we got Clark Kent too. He's in the chat. He's been trolling you this whole time, Tony, just so you know.
Clark Kent?
Yeah, you know who that is? That's Randy.
It choked me out. Yeah.
Wait, Randy.
That's Randy Clark?
Yeah, that's Randy Clark.
Why is this guy not on the show right now? Seriously.
He doesn't have a camera. I don't think he's tech savvy. I don't know.
I think he's tech savvy. He probably is more tech savvy than all of us. He's probably documenting everything to a whole different level. He's honing in on
he's smart.
Right now. Yeah, he's pretty sharp.
He's smart for not coming on the show. Dang it.
Made those awesome Blossom shirts.
Yeah.
By
the way, if you like these, if you guys, I'm not sure how much they cost yet, but let me know if you guys want to get a Blossom shirt. But the prerequisite is you have to have flown Blossom at least once. You can't just wear the Blossom shirt, can you?
Nah, that's kind of being a poser, man.
Yeah, that's poser. Yeah, you can't do it. And you can't fly a motor there. You'd have to free flight it because it's so dangerous there. It's like a death wish. If you're flying Blossom, you never know what Blossom's going to do.
The thing about Blossom is it's a dangerous site. It's not a very large site, but it's a very dangerous site if you don't necessarily know what to look for.
Yeah.
And, I've seen, a handful of people now. You give them a site intro, say, hey, listen, these are the places you really don't want to go at this particular site. And the first thing they do is go to those places you tell them not to go, as if they don't believe what you're telling them. And it's unnerving to see it happen, because I've seen it happen a couple of times personally where I said, okay, these are the places to absolutely avoid without hesitation. And the very next thing they do, they're like, well, I'm 50 feet off the deck. I think I can go into that place now and be safe about it. I saw so-and-so go into that place. They're, a couple thousand feet up, and they went ahead and shot over across this such and such, or whatever it was. And they go over there, and man, oh man, I tell you, it is like watching a car accident. You don't want to look away, but you don't want to be looking at what you're seeing either.
You don't want to look away. That's horrible.
It really is in bad taste. But that's
the only reason Tony goes with me. He's wanting to watch the show.
Let me tell you, when I first met Roberto here, and I found out, I don't remember if it was you that told me, I met you at Horse Canyon, where we overheated Margie's truck trying to get to the top of launch that day. Okay, I don't remember if that was the 10,000 foot day. That was a really nice day. Whatever the case, no, that was not actually. That was far before that. However, I digress. Anyway, we met up there, and I don't remember if it was you that told me or somebody told me that your original instructor was YouTube. And I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, I need to know this guy. This is hilarious. And if this works, I'm going to be really impressed. But then I saw Welcome to Palomar, and, the rest is history. It was amazing.
Oh, it's horrible.
Best paragliding video I've ever seen, by the way. I'm just saying.
That wouldn't be because you're in that show, are you? Is that
why? You know what? Normally that would definitely be the case, being the narcissist that I am. However, in this particular case, no. It was because you put on, seriously, the best show I've ever personally seen.
Oh,
and the best part about it was I didn't see it, in the video first. I saw this Welcome to Palomar. I saw it happen right before my very eyes. It was outstanding. And I just remember thinking that this guy, who I didn't know was you because I was just far enough away that I couldn't see you, but close enough to be able to say that this guy hates the shear layer more than me. And it was outstanding.
I knew it was going to happen tonight. I knew you were going to bring it up. They've named that video, which, by the way, went viral. It's at 50,000 views right now. And horrible video to go viral, but everybody likes that kind of craziness.
It was wonderful, and I thank you for producing it. It was great.
Tony and a few other guys named that video "Welcome to Palomar,"
yeah,
which is fitting.
Literally my XC Skies profile for that site. Welcome to Palomar.
I still hate Palomar because of that.
You will learn to love it, sir. I promise you.
Dang Palomar!
Oh, what a wonderful place.
You guys make Blossom look so easy, though.
I love Blossom.
Blossom can be easy. It really can. With the proper site intro and, as long as you avoid those danger zones I kind of mentioned earlier when somebody gives you the site intro and says, okay, avoid these places. It's a wonderful place. I mean, it's a wonderful place on those days that it's wonderful. I mean, I think Robert's got a few videos where it wasn't so wonderful and he wound up way down below and have to hike out. But if your biggest danger is sinking out, I mean, that's definitely not a problem. But Blossom can just be so wonderful,
Yeah, Glass Off is my favorite. I know Randy Clark Kent will agree. It's a beautiful Glass Off, but I bet you it is rip roaring in the midday.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, I mean we were there the other day and there was still some booming thermals and it was at 6 o'clock. We still went to El Cap at 6 o'clock.
Off. Sometimes it just simply doesn't glass off. And Blossom tends to be better later. I mean, there's those days when it's really good early, especially in the springtime and that kind of a thing. But at Blossom, you get those days where it's just a bag of, what do you say? A bag of donuts, right?
Bag of donuts.
Yeah, that's right. And it's just garbage. And you're sitting there going, okay, this is awful. And I've been up there more times than once, and I have been this guy more than once where you're like, you know what? Not going to happen. I'm leaving. And you do. Art. Art is a classic. This is my favorite leaving story ever. We were up there for, a better part of 2.5, run up on 3 hours. But at that point, we're just like hanging out, maybe had a couple of beers, whatever, and just kind of kicking back. We're like, we're just going to hang out up here and then we're going to leave. All of a sudden, the convergence set up right about the time Art says, you know what? It's not happening today. I'm out of here. He drives away. And as he's driving away, it starts coming in a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, what the heck? Some non-local guy, he launched and, he was doing all right. He's, 100 feet over the ridge. I'm like, well, it's better than nothing. So I'll go ahead and I'll take it. Well, anyway, I go ahead and I launch, and this guy and I we're flying around, and all of a sudden, there's convergence clouds right over launch, and somebody had just left, and people at Blossom, they get the idea that going to El Cap is that's the end all at Blossom. Make it across the valley, get to El Cap, which this guy did, and he decked out immediately, landed out in the valley somewhere, right? And so this other guy,
which is not nice, by the way.
Yeah, it's not. It's no fun. That is nasty.
I haven't done it yet, for the record.
Man, I sure have. But so this other guy and I were like, yeah, we're not going to go over there because it's no good over there. So we ended up getting under these convergence clouds, and we got higher above Blossom launch than personally I have ever been in a Hanglider, Paraglider, or otherwise. Okay, and it was absolutely magic as I'm watching Art's car drop onto the paved road and go back to his house. And man, I tell you, that was my best flight at Blossom, and that was the day that Ryan Bloom flew to Del Mar, right? And he did that XC out of you don't remember that?
I didn't know anything about that. He flew to Del Mar.
It's on a diorama, the whole thing. You got to check this thing out. It was incredible. You know, and me being the paragliding wuss that I am, I'm like, no, I'm going to be Mr. Conservative. I flew over to, what's it called? That place, Lake Jennings. I made it over to the middle of the lake, and I'm still going up. I'm like, this is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I look back, and that other guy that I was flying with, I can't for the life of me remember his name. He gets up to like 6,300 feet, which for Blossom is a really good altitude. I mean, you usually have to go to El Cap just to get to 4,000 or 5,000 feet, right? And this guy's right over launch at 6,300. He gets up and he takes off toward, he thinks he's going to follow Ryan, but he winds up in, over at Ramona somewhere. And I was way over the lake, so I started heading back to Blossom Launch. And by that time, that convergence had kind of dissipated, and I wound up headed towards the launch. I didn't even make the launch. I wound up in the bailout, man. I fell out of the air like a lead balloon. But
dude,
that's one of my best days out there.
You know what? I gotta share this video. Let me see if I can find this real quick. We did a little cross country thing. Tony, me, Phil Russman. It was my first day to Cloud Base, actually. And it was one of my favorite days, favorite videos. I was still trying to hit my butt with both hands at that point. But Phil and I caught this thermal. But just before we launched, I want to show this. I'm going to share this video. And, you know, since it's my video, they can't copyright infringe my video because it's my video, right?
Your video, man. Do whatever you want with it.
That's right. I'm going to do whatever I want with it. Let me see if I can pull it up here. But we went from Little Black and we went to Twin Peaks, which is what, maybe like 3-4 miles away?
Yeah, something like that, I want to say. Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can make this work. We'll let my computer's freaking out right now. It does not like to do all this stuff at the same time. But it's worth it. To see this video, it's worth it. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Let's go on screen share. We're going to go full screen. Oh, yeah, this will really freak the computer out. If I lose you, I'm sorry. This thing just totally wigged out. Okay, there we go. There's that. There's Russman cussing. Here we go. Oh, not that button. We call him Cussman.
That was my brainchild, by the way. I have to own that one. Cussman.
Dang it.
What happened?
It won't let me do it.
No, say it isn't so.
Hold on. I'm almost there. I'm almost
processing power, man.
Here we go. Okay. Somebody else was calling me right now, and my computer picks up the call. Okay, here we go. Start screen share. You guys are gonna get a kick out of this.
That's me right
so this
there.
so this is Tony. Now watch this. Let me just back this up a little bit. So Tony launched first. He went out and tested the air a little bit. And he was I'm gonna have to go back just a little bit farther. There we go. Watch him thread the needle here. Let's go, computer. Come on. You can do it. I need some processing power here. Okay, so he can't find a thermal. It's still early enough, and he's just kind of fighting to stay up. So he's going to come back in and top land, and watch. He has no place to land. But look, okay, so he lands right here. Now look, he has no place to put the wing, but he turns around, and I was just floored by this. No problem at all. There's only one place he can put that wing down, and watch this. Boop. Doesn't interfere with anybody. I loved it, dude.
Yeah, right. That was hard, man. That doesn't look like much at all in the video. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But that day, there was nowhere to go. There was just nothing.
Let's watch Russman here.
Oh, it's Cussman.
Oh, dang it. Yeah. Russman on the ground.
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, he's good.
Classic
he's back up.
Russman form. Cussman form, sorry.
Cussman form. Okay,
Beautifully
that's
done.
enough. We're not watching mine.
Yeah, look at you. You're the star, baby.
No, mine was horrible too, and you were harassing me.
I would never do such a thing.
Lies. Okay, the chat. I couldn't see what was going on in the chat here. Let me catch this. Show the landing.
Oh, the chat. I forgot about that. I gotta look at the
Yeah.
chat real quick. Hold
Chat's
on
going
here.
crazy.
The chat's going crazy.
The chat's going nuts already.
Faster the better.
Okay, let's take some questions. We're at 7:00 mark. I didn't even take any questions yet. Any questions you got that you want to ask Tony Boyer or even the other Tony? Tony, we're going to have to call you Tony from North Carolina.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Hey, Carl, Colorado wanted to know if you could top land at LCAP.
Yes.
There you
That
go.
can be done. Yeah, there it is.
That's where we're going to do the. I don't know if I can say this on the air. I'm going to try to do paracamping up there. Don't tell anyone else.
Secret spots.
Yeah. I'll say this. Someone has already done paracamping on El Cap. It looks pretty rad. Don't tell nobody else. Yeah, in a couple of my videos, I pointed out, Carl, if you go look at it, I point out the area. I haven't done it yet because I'm still scared, but I will do it. I will try it one day. Yeah. Let's watch the bush landing. All right, that's enough. Can somebody mute Carl, Colorado? The bush landing. He's probably talking about when I biffed it in at Little Black. For the record, Carl, Colorado has been watching my videos from like the very beginning. And so every once in a while he would comment and he'd be like, dude, you're going to die if you keep doing that. Do this, change this. So funny. Yeah. He's got a good channel too, by the way. I've been trying to get him on the show, but Carl is working or supposed to be working right now. He's probably on the clock. Hey, Kirk M. What's up, brother? Kirk M. I met him at Palomar. He actually sent me an email one day. And then we got to meet. He's flying. Is there a way? Here's the question for Tony Boyer. Is there a way to know when you guys will be at Blossom a day or two in advance?
Yeah, a day in advance is not completely out of the question.
Yeah.
2 days in advance, they might be thinking, oh yeah, Blossom's going to look good in a couple of days. And then of course the forecast changes. It's too blown out. You wind up at Torrey, or something like that. Or, it's easier, I would say, to predict during the week than a weekend. But yeah, usually it's going to be, the day before, day of. That's kind of how I see it. Is Kirk from San Diego here? I think.
Yeah.
Kirk. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, Kirk is.
Is Kirk flying a Sigma 10 by chance?
No. Kirk will have to answer that. I don't remember what he was flying. I was desperate to launch that day because I had to fly I was obsessing about flying. And so I launched before a whole bunch of people, which I shouldn't have, but I just wanted to get off the ground and get out of there. At Palomar. It was at the fly-in.
Palomar, your favorite place.
Yeah, I hate Palomar.
Dude, you love that place. Welcome to Palomar. Come on.
I will fly
Say
again.
it with me.
Today. Welcome to Palomar.
That's right. So
I'm still scared. You just say Palomar, I'm like, oh gosh.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty much afraid of my own shadow these days. But now Kirk, I can't remember if I've met Kirk. I feel like I have.
Yes. Look, he just said it in the comments. He said, I met Tony at the SD fly-in.
Yes.
So he knows you.
Okay. Man, it's obviously the whole name thing, but let's see here.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Tony from North Carolina. That is a great question. Before I go to that, Kirk said.
Kirk M's comment.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Kirk said, Tony will remember me if I tell him I'm the guy that doesn't like people.
That is outstanding. I remember loving that comment. I'm like, oh, that's outstanding.
I know.
You're my kind of guy.
I know, me too.
Love that.
Yep.
Hilarious.
Instant hit with me.
Yes. Outstanding. Kirk, it's been a while, man. Let's go to Blossom or something.
So here's the question, Tony. Tony, you can just ask that question because you got a microphone right in front of you.
Yeah, that's odd. I haven't been behind one of these in a lot of years. Yeah, how about for us PPG guys who don't know much about anything, namely myself, defining some of the common PG terminology, like glass off, blown out, what's the other one? Sled ride, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Some common stuff.
I mean, you're going to hear glass off. That's an end of the day type thing, right? And Blossom is a classic example of glass off. Usually, it's up and it's down during the day. You might, when you're in lift, you're going up, 700-800 feet a minute, and all of a sudden, boom, you're going down at that same rate. And then all of a sudden, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon comes around, and the air, the cool air kind of comes in and displaces the warm air, and everything just starts kind of going up. It becomes real buoyant, really nice, kind of like surfing when the wind gets off the water and the waves form up real nice, the tides at just the right place, that kind of thing. But you're usually going to hear glass off. That's an end of the day kind of terminology where, you might get a good, nice hour of flying, in the evening time. And so let's see. So blown out, is going to be typically going to be the opposite of that, right? Being paraglider pilots, we like to fly thermals, right? And if the wind is coming in too strong, it's going to blow those thermals apart, and it's going to be more turbulent. It's going to be more disorganized, broken up, and blown out is typically the term we'll use for either for that, or if the wind, the base wind is just too strong to get off the hill. It's like you're going to try to pull your wing up, you're just going to get dragged. Right?
More on the dangerous side then.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, blown out could definitely be more on the dangerous side, and and definitely less fun, in my opinion. And then when you're talking about sled rides, well, that's just if you picture yourself launching from say you're 1,000 feet above your LZ, and you never get higher than 1,000 feet above that LZ. So you're launching off the top, and you're just going straight down. You might do a few turns in there, but they refer to that as a sled ride, essentially, since you're never catching a thermal and going up. You're just going straight down.
Gotcha. Any other big terminology?
Let's see here. Well, you might hear people talking about full frontals, and not the good kind, or collapses. Collapses, yeah. Collapses, that's if your canopy deflates, you're flying along in some, fairly dynamic air, and then all of a sudden, 40-50% of your wing just gets smashed down as if like a giant fly swatter came across the top of your wing and just smashed it out of the air. That's your wing collapse.
That could be ungood.
That could be ungood. Yeah, exactly.
Tony, does Karina know that you're on the air?
I don't know. Hey, Karina. Hey, I'm on the air right now. Come say hello. Come on over here. She gets real bashful. Super funny. Come here, Karina. I'm on Paragliding.com. I can't say it like Robert does. I'm over here to say hello.
Paragliding.com.
But yeah, so that's why I didn't pick up the phone. Sorry about that.
Tell her we were all listening to her talk to Jack.
We're all listening to you talk to Jack just now. It's going to be recorded in a live broadcast. And 38 people will listen to this live broadcast, by the way. Oh. Just so you're right. It's all in Spanish. We've got translators.
It's all in Spanish.
That's okay.
It's okay. I just love my dog. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. She apologizes for loving the dog. Okay. So
I love Jack too.
He's a pretty lovable guy. He likes to hang out and fly paragliders. When the wind's good.
I told Tony that Jack would make a great dusting tool. You just grab him by his feet, squirt a little pledge on his back.
Let me see. Look at this guy. Look at his. God, I keep getting these emails. Look at his long hair. Okay.
Let me see, Jack. Bring him over here.
Bring that little dog over here.
That fatty.
Hey, little fatty. Come here. Look at this guy.
He's living the American dream.
Yeah,
You know.
he's living the American dream. Look how fat he is. He sits there and chills. He's almost good at dusting. He's a good dude.
I was like, Tony.
We hired him as a vacuum cleaner too.
Yeah, he's a vacuum cleaner, a duster. He does it all, man. Awesome.
I do need to borrow him for that. Pick up some of this food around the table.
That's right. Take it away from Tabin. But
yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, you got your collapses, your full frontals, and that's when the entire wing goes away if you don't catch it. And I haven't had a whole lot of those. I've flown a ratty in it there. What's that?
Aerobatics.
Aerobatics, yeah, aerobatics or acro, probably exactly as the name suggests. I think probably Giuseppe, who was on the show 2-3 weeks ago, he'd probably be pretty good at answering some of the questions regarding.
No, are you into it yourself?
Am I into it? No. No, I was a little, kind of mildly so in hang gliding. Paragliding, I don't do any kind of acro type stuff. I'm too scared of my own shadow at this stage of the game. With my mountain bike stuff and motorcycles and paragliding. I try to make paragliding my safe sport if I possibly, if that's possible. And
yeah, because he's doing mountain biking and he's always getting hurt mountain biking. And it's more dangerous than paragliding. We laugh because the hike down from the top of Blossom is more dangerous than flying at Blossom.
Yeah, that's true. The closest I think I ever get to acro is maybe doing some steep turns or some spirals or, something like that. But, I tend to swoop around a little bit here and there, but nothing too outrageous, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's me too.
Yeah, I just like to keep it safe anymore.
Scott Vaccaro asked which YouTube videos taught you the most early on. He's asking me, currently learning out here in Boulder, Colorado, trying to switch from skydiving. First of all, it's not a great idea to learn off of YouTube. You can learn some stuff, but the only thing I was really learning off of YouTube was ground handling stuff, how to get the wing up. I learned a video from the guys at Fly Bubble. And they have some really good videos. Go check out their stuff. They have some of their beginning stuff, like just, how to grab the A's, pull up the wing over your head, and where your hands need to be, that kind of stuff. And if you're just learning, really focus a lot on ground handling. If you haven't flown yet, I would recommend getting yourself to about that 30-hour mark of actual physical ground handling time. That was a recommendation that I got from a couple instructors, and then go from there. Also, if you're in Boulder, Colorado, you're probably not too far from Carl, Colorado. So maybe you guys could connect. Maybe you already know him. But yeah, kiting it's critical to the sport, which, by the way, our guest tonight is incredible. Tony Boyer is really good at ground handling, and that's an important part of our whole apparatus.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And, the other thing about learning from YouTube is you don't get any input when you're actually flying. So if you're doing something wrong, you're not getting the input that, you need to do this way or,
right.
do this that way or whatever the case may be. So, and I know some skydivers who've also come into paragliding, and I know that the dynamics are similar, but they're also very, very different. I'm not a skydiver, so I can't speak to it intelligently. However, I do know that, there's some different stuff happening there. And, in my opinion, ground handling is a very important thing to be able to do. I mean, they used to say back when I first started paragliding that ground handling is, just makes you a better pilot in the air. The more you can handle your wing on the ground, which is the hardest part, the flying part becomes just easier.
Yeah. Well said. Well said.
Oh, thanks.
Well, we're 7:15. I really appreciate everybody coming on. Check out paraglidingtalk.com. Go there and find out what's happening with the next shows. I do want to put a plug in and encourage you to support the show financially if you can do that. We have a Patreon account set up for that. We recently got a couple more people contributing to the Patreon. Please support the show financially. I don't get anything. I don't get paid by any other source. I'm hoping that I can make enough money off of this to buy some gear, maybe get some stuff for the show and push the show. Not hurting for money or anything like that. I want to justify keeping the show going, and that's a great justification. And so I'm constantly shamelessly saying support the show with Patreon. And I also set up a little PayPal. You can support the show on PayPal. The reason I say it is this is a great place where you can come for the price of a cup of coffee every month. You can learn stuff that might save your life. It's worth it. Don't be so stingy. I'm trying to get Tony to support the show. Boyer, he's such a cheap sucker. Yeah. We were trying to get him to cuss this whole time so that he'd have to pay $10, but he didn't buy in.
Yeah, man. I can't afford to support the show. I'm always, trying to support Robert after the flying days. Here, let me buy you an entire pizza.
And I'll eat it.
Exactly.
I will eat the whole thing.
Why is always filmed from the shoulders down, or from the shoulders up, rather?
Yeah.
Guy never wears pants when he does a show, from what I've heard.
No, it's just not comfortable. Hey, how you doing? Hey, thanks.
There we go.
My wife just contributed $5 to the show.
You're rich.
Thanks, babe. Didn't I just give you that for the?
Yeah.
You need it back.
And there goes
What goes around comes around, my friend.
That happened fast.
You got the
revolving
for a second anyway.
Yeah, I did get to see it at least. That's not like normal paychecks. She's gone already. Oh man. Any other questions for Tony? We're gonna call this a show. And hey, Slow Days, what's up, brother? I do like Slow Days. Hey, by the way, everybody, I really appreciate you guys subscribing to the show and all the likes and stuff. Today we breached 1,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah.
If you can believe that. That is fantastic. And you know what's cool? Pretty much every single one of my subscribers is a pilot, that's unique in my opinion.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, I like that.
Somebody who's interested in the subject matter. That's different.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate everybody. Next show is going to be an awesome show. Again, we're going to have Max Martini. He was the first guy to be on the show. And also we're going to be joined by Getty G. So both of them, actually Getty was the one who sent me an email. He's like, hey man, I want to try to do a show again with Max Martini, talk about acro. And I said, I would love it. Let's do it.
That'll be good.
Yeah, that'll be really fun. And the following show, we're trying to get Mark Honeycutt to come on the show so we can ask him some questions, pick his brain for the paramotor guys. I really appreciate all the paramotor guys that come every week faithfully to check out the show. And I wish that I knew more about paragliding. Hey, look, Del Sanchez is in the chat. Do you see that, Tony? That's the nice Del, though.
Oh.
Sanchez.
That's nice, Del Sanchez. I was waiting for him to show up. Yeah.
He's been here, man. He's just been hanging out, taking it all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
He's nice, Del. Nice. I got another subscriber, Scott Vaccaro. Right on, Scott Vaccaro.
Glad I could be a part of it.
That is fantastic. You guys are great. I don't even want to. Yeah, Brett. I don't even want to turn the show off. But Brett just mentioned Mark Honeycutt's getting into free flight. If you haven't seen his video, he did a pretty good job, man. I mean, I know he's a great motor pilot already, but the fact that he went to a site that's really close to his house, and he hucked it and caught some thermals, and the first one it was like a sled ride to the bottom, but then the second one, it started popping off some thermals. So, and he caught a couple good ones. I would say he was about 1,000 over at one point. It's pretty rad. Yeah, check out that video. But yeah, we're trying to get him on.
Outstanding.
Yep. Ripman, send me your email. If I don't have your email already, send me your email and go to the website, shoot me over your info. Ripman's been watching the show from the very beginning too. I want to give him a promotion. Appreciate your faithfulness to the show. Adventureland, dude. I know Adventureland too. That is fantastic. There was another guy who, hopefully I don't know if he's watching. He met me on steamit.com today and reached out to me, and he's on a mission. He's flying all over the place, and he's like, I think he's living in a van, and he's just going from place to place, rock climbing, flying, and he's got his dog with him, and he was all excited to see me posting stuff on steamit.com. Go to steamit.com. My moniker on there is Captain Obvious, and post some stuff on there, and I'll upvote your stuff. You get paid in cryptocurrency, which is pretty cool. North Carolina pilot Tony, you've got an account. He's making a little crypto here and there. You can post your videos on there.
Rich.
Yeah, I'm crypto rich. I'm Bitcoin rich.
Oh, yeah. Work for the homie chicken.
Yeah, that's right. We're working on it, man. Bitcoin went to 9,300 or 9,000. Was it 800 today? I'll have to check my ticker. If you guys are not I'm just telling all of you now, okay? If you're not into crypto, you better get into it now, because if you do now, you're gonna get rich. This is not financial advice.
8-track tapes.
You still have 8-track tapes?
I do.
Hey,
the player,
right, man.
dead, but I still got the tapes.
Does it work?
Well, the player is dead. Yeah, it doesn't work anymore. Got some BTO, Steppenwolf, and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
Hey, Robert, you probably want to type in the spelling for your Steemit. It took me forever to find you because Captain Obvious is not spelled that way.
It's with a 3 instead of an S. Yeah, because there was a Captain Obvious who, by the way, quit. He failed his account. Probably lost his password or something. But yeah, good call. I just dropped that in the chat, and I'll put that in the comments below.
You are the man.
Just in case you're wondering if it's worth it, right now my account is worth $5,000, and it's all public information. So if you wanted to look at my wallet, you could. On steemit.com, that's steemit.com. Go check that out and make yourself an account. It takes a couple days for it to verify, and once you're in, it's pretty cool. You post stuff like social media. It's more of like a blog thing. You don't just post a picture of yourself and expect everybody to vote. But you can make money, and I made a good chunk of change. I'm leaving it in there, obviously, because it keeps on growing and the value keeps on growing. But,
hey, hold that thought. Right back.
All right. We should probably turn the show off. How late is it over there, Tony?
It is 10:23 p.m.
I'm surprised you didn't go with the group to the fly-in.
I'm a solo parent of a little one.
Oh,
Daddy doesn't get to go out that much, especially.
I didn't know that.
The fly. Stuff.
How old's the little one?
11.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was my biggest fan when I was getting my ticket. When I got my ticket, she's flown a couple times, and she just doesn't like it. But now if I say, hey, let's go to Myrtle Beach, let's get a Cessna and go to Myrtle Beach, she's all about that.
Yeah,
it turns a 3.5-hour drive into an hour flight, but it has nothing to do with the flight. So
what do? You charter a plane over there?
Member of a flying club, local. Can't beat prices. I mean, I can get a Cessna 152 for $70 wet an hour.
Wow.
An FBO 152 would be about $125, and then you got to buy the fuel for it. So, yeah, it's pretty cheap.
Wow, that is pretty cheap. I wonder what it costs here in Southern California. I plan on getting my pilot's license eventually.
Do it.
I will do it. Yeah, I will do it.
I tell you, my dream flight would be from John Wayne over to Catalina for lunch and back.
Yeah, they do it.
Oh yeah,
they do it.
PPG, huh? Is that what you guys
No, we're talking about Cessnas.
Oh yeah. I've actually
Yeah.
flown over there to Catalina for lunch. Well, actually, no, we did our flight from San Diego up to oh shoot, what was it? What was that airport? Camarillo. They have some amazing milkshakes up at the Camarillo airport, as it turns out. And then we took off from Camarillo and went over to Catalina. So yeah, that's an interesting airport to land at, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. You know, we blew our approach on the first one. Had to come around and try it again.
It's a gorgeous approach, but you got to get your speeds and feeds right, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many hours do you have in flying?
Fixed wing?
Yeah.
Couple hundred.
200. Nice.
Yeah, I'd have to pull out the logbook to get the exact numbers. I know I crested a couple hundred.
That's great, man.
Still current until July.
Nice.
That's great. And did you get your what is it called, IFR?
No,
your,
actually, see, I was working towards double I, CFII, and I got to thinking at my moderate age, I won't disclose right now. It's somewhere between 20 and 85, but I would have to have a student 8 hours a day, every day for years to pay the training back. And I love
Right.
teaching. So I kind of happened across this whole butt fan thing. And since my little one doesn't like to fly, sessions are expensive, and I fly by myself all the time. $5 an hour is a whole lot easier to chew on. So
yeah.
yeah, I've started teaching ground handling now with powered paragliding,
Oh, nice.
and am eventually going to work into getting folks in the air.
That's great, man.
Yeah, I'm digging it,
Yeah.
and it to me, it's all about the ground handling. I think anybody can mash a throttle and run that away.
Right. That's great, man. Right on. Well, guys, I'm going to call this a wrap. I'm going to go and eat some food. I can smell it. It's smelling really good in here. Thanks again for everybody who is in the chat and everybody who's been a part of the show. We're episode 23 tonight, or 24, 23. And I'm pretty excited about that. And we're going to keep this rolling. And just really appreciate you guys. We'll have a great night. We'll have just a quick debriefing, quick after show. So thanks for your help, Tony. Thanks for your moderation. Tony Boyer, thanks for being thanks for coming on the show. Tony Boyer, you're going to be a regular on the show now that I know your computer works.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
So I'll set you up as a moderator as well, so you'll be ready for that. And then we'll call this a wrap. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you. We'll talk to you later. Have a great night.
All right.